All right, guys. So the impending breakup or divorce between libertarian conservatives and conservatives that are not so libertarian, it's coming, right? It's coming, and this is something I've alluded to before. And Ron DeSantis has really been a perfect case study for me, as he's really showing a lot of people that hey, conservatives can use the government to do things in order to protect American values. Even that means intervening in the free market. And that is something that he has demonstrated over the course of the last few months, even to a year, in regards to big tech and in regards to protecting women's rights in sports, going after the NCAA. And now he's basically going after the cruise ship industry, okay? Because there was a fight between DeSantis and the cruise ship industry about vaccine passports, whether or not these cruise ships would be allowed to mandate vaccine passports in order for people to actually be able to get on these cruises. Now, Ron DeSantis has basically said, no, you should not require a vaccine in order to get on a cruise. Right? And the cruise industry is like, nah, we want to require people to get a vaccine to get on the cruise because of safety. Now, Ron DeSantis says that this undermines American values, right? And that, private businesses should not be able to overstep that. Again, this does bring us some questions about the whole small government thing. It really does. I can't sit here in front like it doesn't, because a lot of the things that Ron DeSantis is doing ain't necessarily small government. But at the same time, you have the Democrats working with big tech to actively censor people, okay, and using the government to push the values that they want on people. Maybe the only way for conservatives to fight back is to use the government, okay? Maybe it's not enough just to do nothing when the opponent is using the government to get what they want. So this time around, Ron DeSantis has strong arm at least one of these cruise ship companies, the Royal Caribbean specifically, into reversing their policy of requiring U.S. passengers be vaccinated. Now, before I get into this video, guys, I just gotta give a disclaimer. The same way I get disclaimers anytime I talk about anything regarding the vaccine, the pandemic, the virus. I'm not making any claims. Whatsoever about the virus, about the pandemic. I'm not making any claims whatsoever. This is a public policy discussion. Okay, so let's read here. According to the Miami Herald, Royal Caribbean International will no longer require any of its cruise passengers to be vaccinated for COVID-19 as it had previously planned to. In a press release Friday announcing cruises for sale on 8 of its ships from U.S. ports this summer, starting with Freedom of the Seas from PortMiami on July 2nd. The company said it will recommend passengers get the COVID-19 vaccine, but not require it. The announcement is a reversal from previous statements and vaccine protocols the company submitted to the U.S. Center of Disease Control and Prevention last month that said it will require all passengers at least 18 years old and older to be vaccinated. Quote, guests are strongly recommended to set sail fully vaccinated if they are eligible, the company said in a statement. Those who are unvaccinated or unable to verify vaccination will be required to undergo testing and follow other protocols, which will be announced at a later date. The about face is an apparent submission to Governor Ron DeSantis, who has insisted that there will be no exception made for cruise companies to a newly passed Florida law that fines companies $5,000 each time they ask a patron to provide proof of vaccination. Royal Caribbean International's sister brand Celebrity Cruises, both owned by Royal Caribbean Group, is still requiring all passengers 16 years old or older to be vaccinated on its 7-night Caribbean cruises that are restarting from Port Everglades on June 26. Leanne Carroll, a spokesperson for Royal Caribbean International, said that the plans to require passengers to be vaccinated that the company submitted to the CDC only applied to its test cruises. According to CDC rules, cruise ships that don't meet certain vaccination thresholds for passengers and crew must first do a successful test cruise before they can restart revenue cruises. Quote, our intention is to comply with all federal, state, and local laws, she said via email. On May 26th, the cruise line updated its website to say that passengers 16 years or older on its cruises from Seattle and the Bahamas are required to be vaccinated. Previously, the website said passengers 16 and older on all of the company's U.S. cruises had to meet the requirement. In a statement, CEO Michael Bailey thanked DeSantis and other elected officials for their support of the industry, which had been paralyzed since it was forced to shut down in March 2020 after COVID-19 outbreaks and deaths on several cruise ships. Quote, as of today, 90% of all vacations booking with Royal Caribbean are either vaccinated or planning to get vaccinated in time for their cruise, Bailey said in a statement. The company said all crew members will be vaccinated. All right, so yeah, Ron DeSantis essentially has strong arms some of these cruise ship companies into not requiring a vaccine anymore in order to be a passenger. Now, it's funny because a lot of people, want to talk about, how the government can't tell private business what to do. And I definitely agree with that. I think in an ideal world, they don't do that. But at the same time, the government subsidizes a lot of these businesses, right? Like they subsidize these airlines. These cruise ship companies got bailed out from the government. Well, technically, it wasn't a bailout because these companies, guys, these cruise ship companies, they're not even registered in the U.S. So they really don't even pay taxes like that. But you know how bought and sold these politicians are. You know how bought and sold the government is. The government will never do anything against big business. Okay, as the Federal Reserve basically did a $6 billion backdoor deal with the Carnival Cruises in order to basically buy unlimited bonds and free up capital for lenders to invest in these cruise ship companies to keep them afloat. So they essentially funneled capital to these cruise ship companies to help keep them afloat through the financial markets. Okay, ain't it crazy how that works, guys? Ain't it crazy how these companies, even though they're not registered in the U.S., they pay little to no taxes, they still get access to these taxpayer funds when they need something, when they need some money. And the government says, listen, we're not going to bail you out on paper. Okay, we'll just do some finagling with the Federal Reserve and in the financial markets in order to funnel you these taxpayer dollars for the cheap, right? Enjoy these low interest rates. Enjoy this cheap money, okay? And ultimately, at the end of the day, I mean, hey, if people don't feel safe getting on these cruises, then they don't have to get on the cruises, right? They don't have to, right? The free market is still in play. Right? If they don't want to get on it, they don't have to. But at the same time, people who do want to get on the cruise and, who want to take the risk or whatever, they have that option, right? There are other cruise lines that are still requiring a vaccine. And that's just how it is right now. But again, it is interesting because specifically in reference to big tech and some other industries. Now, the cruise lines, that's a little bit different. It's a little bit more complicated because they're not actual U.S. companies. But again, these are the same companies that have been dependent on the government, okay? And now you got people saying that the government should better tell them what to do when really the government is the reason why a lot of these industries even exist in the first place. And a lot of people don't understand actually how subsidized and socialized our society already is. So I think for those who are complaining about the government telling these cruise ship companies what to do, in principle, I don't think that they should be doing it. I don't think that Ron DeSantis is necessarily right for doing this. But at the same time, again, we really should be arguing about the corporate socialism that has been happening between these corporations and the government, more so than, these mandates from Ron DeSantis, right? If people want to be mad about it, right? They want to be mad about the government interrupting the free market. Let's be mad about all the subsidies that these companies are getting, all the welfare and socialism that these companies are getting from the government. That's what we really should be upset about if people want to be mad about it. So at the end of the day, like I said, Ron DeSantis, again, making moves. I think a lot of conservatives are probably going to see this as a W. Some libertarians are probably going to be even more upset and afraid that DeSantis is some type of authoritarian, that, he may be on a power trip, which, I mean, hey, that could be true. I don't know, right? I'm just a commentator, right? But the moves that he's making here is certainly some very interesting politics, as, he's just getting W's in the culture war, man. He really is. He knows his base, he knows who he's trying to appeal to, and he's just doing it. He's just doing it. And it's pretty fascinating stuff to watch. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.